Hey, I'm Candace, your host, and if you're ready to grow your business and build your authority by getting booked on podcasts, I've got something special for you. I'm launching a brand new course that will walk you through exactly how to get booked on podcasts. Everything from identifying the right shows to pitching, preparing for interviews, and leveraging your guest appearances for growth. Plus, if you sign up for the waitlist now, you'll get early access to the course and these special bonuses. When you officially enroll in the course, you'll save $50 and get a free one-on-one strategy call with me to help you prep your speaking points and align your offers. These bonuses are limited and end on April 13th, so make sure to sign up today. Head to the link in the show notes to join and get started on your podcast guesting journey. I can't wait to help you get booked and start sharing your message with the world. Now let's dive into today's episode. On today's episode, hear from Hailee Strong. She is the co-owner of True Removal Electrolysis, a business dedicated to helping clients feel confident and empowered through permanent hair removal. With a Bachelor of Science degree and a long career in healthcare, Hailee made the bold decision to transition from working for others to building her own business. This leap into entrepreneurship has been a journey of growth, independence, and purpose. In this season of life, Hailee is not only finding herself, but also cherishing meaningful traditions and connections that bring joy and balance to her journey. You're going to love this chat that I just had with Hailee. She is a fireball and she knows what she wants and how to go after those goals and dreams. Let's dive in. All right. So I have Hailee Strong on. She is, I think, not an actual former student athlete when I was in my teaching and coaching days, but I do remember you growing up during that time, and you are my first to highlight on the show. So I'm really excited that you're here to talk about your journey into entrepreneurship. So welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm super excited. It's kind of funny, even though we're from the same town, we've never officially bumped into each other, but I know all about you and being a basketball coach and a teacher. I just never had you.
Yep. Same, vice versa. Yes, for sure. Start with telling us, how did you actually get into your journey into entrepreneurship? How did we get here?
I was not always an entrepreneur. I very much was healthcare journey, healthcare something, whether that was a nurse, whether that was an x-ray tech, whether that was physical therapy. I thought healthcare was going to be me 100%. I've always had a clear vision of what I've wanted ever since I was little. So healthcare for me was it for years and years. I started when I was 15, 16 in healthcare. But in February, my life came to a very abrupt halt on healthcare. I don't know if it was from COVID or all of my college experience, because I do have a bachelor's in science I got from the University of Minnesota. Very grateful for it because it actually helps me now with what I'm doing with True Removal. I went to college and then I couldn't keep going in healthcare. I got a job in healthcare and I was like, what am I doing? Why is this happening to me? Why am I feeling so frustrated and burnt out? And I'm only 24 and I have 40 more years to go till I can retire. So I was looking into other options. Then I found electrolysis. It just kind of sprung from there on. I could literally see the entire way of how to get there. Maybe not the steps, but the vision in my head was so clear that I knew this is why my life blew up, in the sense that I just was like, this is it. I have to stop and switch lanes. That's a blessing in disguise because of how just young I am. And I think people are like, you have to wait until you're older. I'm like, no, why? Why do I have to wait until I'm 40, 50, and then 60 and have all that experience when I could have used it when I'm 20, 30 right now?
There's so many pieces there to touch on. One is you were saying you're grateful for your college degree and the things that you learned along the way. They played a part. And isn't that so true? Sometimes we don't know the why behind why are we doing this? Why is this happening? But then we end up somewhere in the future and we can look back and see why the pieces all laid out. And so obviously that degree is helping you. And then I love what you're talking about, not waiting. It's ingrained in us that we're supposed to just follow this certain path. And part of this podcast is to just buck that system. I'm so glad that you did that and listen to yourself. It's such a superpower to be able to pivot so quickly, not think of it as such a negative thing. What are we waiting for? I remember waiting for retirement.
I have a co-owner. We go to meetings and she is 20 years older than me, but we together go to these meetings and people ignore me. People don't think I know anything in the room because everybody is her age and older and they have life experience. They have work experience. They know what's going on. And I'm like, but wait, I know what's trending. I know what's going on. I can help you with the socials. I can tell you why your business is failing in that region without you even knowing it. That's where I'm I struggle in the sense of I'm young. I'm using it to my advantage and not my disadvantage. age.
Yes. Age doesn't automatically qualify you or disqualify you in
Mhm.
the younger sense. You mentioned life kind of blowing up. How did you know what new ideas, the path to go down? How do you make those decisions?
For my business, like when I felt the nudge, it was literally, I was just sitting in the car with my business partner. I was like, I just don't know if I can do this. I don't know. And then we had pulled up to this building, which is where we both got our training from. I looked at the door and I knew, I don't know how to, it was like this gut
Mm.
instinct of like, tell me more. And then I had more questions and I was like, my mentor, who I go to still to this day, I'm like, how did you do this? How does it work? Show me the money. Where can I go? This is my nudge. So when I get these new ideas from clients or by listening to them and being like, okay, what do you want to see next from us? What is your feedback? You've been with me now for almost a year. How can we keep that bond, but yet moving forward become better for the new client that comes in? Taking that step back of realizing you have everything in your pocket. You have it all, but you have to act upon that and ask those questions to whoever, whenever you can. If I didn't ask or look at the door, I would not be where I was. Like if we didn't drive to Rochester that day and after we randomly like went to Costco and Sam's Club, I wouldn't have seen the room that we're in, the city that we're in. I would not have known those instincts without seeing it in my head and then just trusting my gut that I can get there. I don't know how, but I can get there.
Trusting that you can figure it out. Someone asked me once, how do people find the trust in themselves to just figure things out and trust that you will figure it out? Because she was leading into like, if you don't have any evidence of it. And my answer was, we're here, still kicking, still surviving. Like, if you look back, there's evidence. Somehow we got here. Somehow we went to college or we had a baby or we got married. Like, somehow we figured all these things out and made a life. And so there's a string of evidence that proves we can always figure it out. We can always figure it out. I love that you talk about action too, because getting those nudges, the downloads, the inspiration, whatever you want to refer to it as, whatever feels good to you, those things, they just stay the dream unless we do follow it up with some action. So I love that you were willing to just jump in and take messy action, trusting that you would just figure out each next step. I think we get overwhelmed with the big picture at the end. Really, it's just a string of consistent little things put together, kind of breaking it down so that you just do the next thing.
I ended up getting like a summer job right before I started True Removal, just at a restaurant business. And I was like, if I can make X amount of money to pay for what I want True Removal to be and how I can see it, I'm going to save this amount of money. And if that amount of money comes into my bank account, I know I can see it. So it did. And that's where I'm like, these nudges are just as important. And then seeing all these people around me that are in their later 30s, 40s, 45 saying, do it now, do it now. And I'm like, I can do it now, even if I have to ask the questions that I need to be asked or connect with someone who maybe knows someone about the question I'm asking.
Just another example of a thing that maybe we've grown up or learned somewhere along the way, that asking a question shows that you don't know something. But again, it's one of those superpowers. If you can ask the right questions, you're going to speed things up and speed your journey up so much and land in the right aligned spot because of that, being willing to put yourself out there. Maybe you do admit that you don't know something, but you're also not going to sit and settle for, okay, I don't know something, so it's okay that I just never find out. We can all ask a question. We can all go find out. How old is True Removal?
1 year in January. So
Okay.
January of 2025, it will be 1 year, which is
Oh my
really
gosh.
crazy to think about because I've had this dream or this vision of True Removal in the place since March. So it's really incredible that we've
Okay.
been in it over a year.
How long was the process in setting everything up to the point that you could open your doors and start accepting clients? Because I think that's another thing we see on social media, is that things happen instantaneously. And that is not true for me. That's not true for most of the people that I have on the show. So give us a picture of how long did this take, knowing that you're going to do it and then you open your doors to the first client.
I knew in March of 2022, this is it for me. I need to either figure out how I'm going to do this or get people on board to help me with this project. And that's kind of how I found my co-owner of True Removal. It's how I found my partner. She is just as much my backbone as I am hers. We rely on each other 24/7. And then she was like, I think you can do it. I'll help you, but you do it. Picked up that job over the summer, made X amount of money. Then we went to school in September in that 2 month frame. Then we made a business plan in November and December, coming around to January and February. Crunching my numbers, I'm trying to figure it out, like where we're going. We ended in Red Wing. We started shopping for buildings. Where are we going to go? And at this point, my business partner wasn't 100% in still. She was just very supportive. We found a building. She took the classes too, right alongside me. We had signed a lease in November, and then we opened in January of 2024. So it took 2 years to like figure out, am I doing this alone? And not alone, because I had a support system, a village that was like, all right, what do we got to do? How can I help you? Who can I connect you with? And that led me to more pieces of schooling, making the money, saving up the money, not necessarily spending it on a vacation or something like that that I wanted, because I knew that True Removal was going to be lifetime. I have so much faith in it that it will forever keep growing within the small towns around us and even in like the cities.
I just love hearing the timelines of things because as far as everybody else knows, you just, boom, the door is open, and we often don't get to hear that part. So thanks for sharing that. You've had a year under your belt of being open. What have you learned, or what advice would you give someone that is in that nudge spot where we're just hitting the new year when this is going to air? This is a time where people are reflecting and starting things. What advice do you have for them just in those initial stages that you've learned over this last year?
Just start. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be small. But if you start on a random Wednesday, random Sunday. It doesn't need to be the new year. It doesn't need to be a new week. It doesn't need to be all these things that I feel like people put on themselves, like, oh, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to do it in the new year. Why can't you start today? Start now. And then write a list of questions you have and then pick one, just one, and start, because that question might lead you to another question, which might lead you to the answer of the third question you had on the list.
Yeah.
That brings you back to the bottom of the list. That then slowly but surely this list of questions gets answered, and you don't have to think twice about it because you know the answer. But then you got to put in the work to continue the questions because they're never ending. We have been open a year, but yet I still have questions. And like I said before, age doesn't matter.
Love that. And then it ends up being just this tangled web, and all of a sudden you're somewhere closer or at the goal, and you maybe don't know how you got there, but it's because you just kept going, you kept answering questions. Love that analogy.
Yeah.
How important for you is mindset and keeping a positive mindset, and how do you stay in a good headspace while running a business?
That's really hard. A lot of people know this, but some people don't. If you've never worked an entrepreneurial lifestyle, life isn't the 8 to 4, 7 to 3, 9 to 5. It is the 6 a.m. wake up. I have a missed call from a client. I have to work on the weekends with a client, or I have to go to a business event. It is those little things that this business isn't just 9 to 5. So for me, I have to schedule time off. I cannot just go ragged 7 days a week for 24 hours a day. I have to schedule in time for myself to regroup, get fresh ideas, bring my energy back up. I have to focus on maintaining a balance, that my rest is needed. I'm a huge nap girly. I love a good nap. So if I need to like once a week have a nap at 2 o'clock, because I know that that maintains my balance and helps me stay connected to the dream that I have. I'm a better boss of myself, and I'm a better friend. I'm a better family member. I'm a better sister. You have to take time away from the business to then have all these crazy ideas that we're having for the business.
I've noticed that too, taking those quick breaks and scheduling that, having boundaries with your work, because a lot of us get into this because we have this dream of time freedom, but then we forget about that and end up just grinding things out, because you could work from anywhere and you could work around the clock if you wanted, but holding those boundaries really leaves that headspace open to have those nudges and downloads and inspiration. I find if I get too worn out, those things don't come. And when we're in that entrepreneurial space, we need to keep our creativity flowing. So I love that you have done that and you've learned that lesson at such a young age. Okay, tell me, if we show up at True Removal, what can we expect? What do you offer there?
At True Removal, it's very much professional as it is personable. It really does depend on each client because nobody is the same. We first discuss your goals and areas of concern for that hair removal. And then the process is precise and tailored directly to you, but then that area of hair. So it means we're targeting each hair follicle that's being treated. Some clients feel like a slight discomfort, but it's really manageable and it's not intolerable. So we always make sure and have a comfortable and relaxed environment. You come as you are. You could show up in PJs, you could show up in rave wear, and I would say, come on in, let's have a great time. We don't care how you show up. The whole point is that you're leaving more confident in yourself and how you see yourself, because inner beauty comes from you and not necessarily somebody down the street thinking you have hairy armpits or hairy legs. As long as you're leaving True Removal shop, that's what matters more than anything. So the treatments just depend on the area of hair. We kind of work from there. Some people are busy. Some people have free time that they're able to come in more frequently or less frequently. It's really just tailored to you. And you can pretty much, other than like a couple things, jump right back into daily life activity. Don't do a sauna. That's the only thing. My recommendation. Don't go into a sauna after you come to me. That's about it.
Okay. What makes electrolysis more effective and a more permanent solution for hair removal?
Not a lot of people know about electrolysis. They only know about laser, sugaring, waxing.
Yeah.
But electrolysis is the only FDA approved permanent hair solution that you're going to find. You can search it up on Google and it literally will tell you right there and there. Laser is more of a reduction of hair. So if you go to laser and you're like, I still have some hairs. Well, laser, it gets rid of most hairs, but not all hairs. And sugaring waxing doesn't target each hair. So what electrolysis does is you use a tiny probe that's inserted into each hair follicle to deliver a precise electrical current, which is back to my science root, that destroys the hair follicle, like to the root, to the bottom of the whole thing. And then I take a tweezers and I get the whole thing out. So it never grows back in a way that it will. It will grow back smaller and smaller each time after every treatment. But laser and sugaring wax, there's a time and a place for it. I waxed for many years. I also have had laser done and continuing. So it's a time and a place. And then I just finished with electrolysis. So that's what I'm saying. It's tailored to you after maybe you've tried waxing or sugaring and you're just sick and tired of that stupid chin hair that's just right there. And all you want is that chin hair gone. This is the most safe and effective means to get rid of any hair.
Okay, I'm big on systems and just making things run efficiently. What kind of systems do you use in your business?
For our booking, like with clients, we use Gloss Genius. It's used actually for hairdressers or a hair salon, but we took it and we love it. It makes it very easy and efficient for clients when they're booking. They're picking their time, their place. I can block out what I need to block out. Like if I want to take a day for myself, I block out the day. Our clients love it. It's the best app, hands down. I will use it time and time again. I'm really big into Google Calendars. I have a crazy life outside of business. I know it, not married and whatever, but I still have a crazy life. I have a big social presence of networking and just being with friends. So Google Calendar, hands down, has to be one of my top just for figuring out life and what's coming up in the month. Because I go by month and then by each like Sunday, I'll look at what I have ahead. And then at the first of the month or right around the end of the month, I'll say, okay, what's going on this month? What's holiday? And then for my social media, I do the same thing. I batch create content. I'm not kidding you when I say there is 30 drafts in my phone waiting for January, February. I find that if I keep doing social media, which I primarily run our social media side of the business and I create them, I have to do it in like a week or a couple days. Otherwise, I'm not going to want to do it. And I schedule every single post out. That's my favorite way to do it, honestly.
I actually do the same thing for social media because I just have like high and low energy days and I cannot be creating content if I'm not feeling really good. I have to be in the right spot with my cycle. Like the stars need to align for me to record content, but it is such a great tool for people like us running a business, wanting to get our business awareness awareness and out there and seen, and it's a free tool. So how do we not use it? So I do the same thing. I batch things and change my shirt and outfit. And so it looks different, right? It's so funny
all
that,
the time.
yeah.
Sometimes I'll even block out, like if I know my month is going to be busy, I will block out a day to just be there by myself, and I will just swap shirts in and out, put my hair up, put my hair down, whatever it is, I will do it. If I feel inspired, I will create one randomly throughout the month. But for financials, this is where I'm very grateful to have a partner, not my forte. She does it all. I don't know what I would do without that part, but she, I know, uses an Expedia sheet. She does that and I do this because we are yin and yang when it comes to things like that. I see it, but she's just really good at it.
Okay.
And then we always have a meeting at the end of the month to talk about the upcoming month and maybe things that we want to do for like the newspaper or networking things that maybe cost money. Like the Red Wing Chamber is having an event in January that we'd like to attend. That's like their formal awards night. So we're planning to go. So that she uses and budgets in.
Such a good thing when the partner's talents are the other one's weakness. Makes it perfect. Okay, tell me where people can find you.
So we are on Facebook. So it's True Removal Electrolysis. Instagram is at True Removal MN for Minnesota. You can call our business phone, which we typically answer. If I don't answer or we don't answer, leave a voicemail because we text pretty frequently at 651-212-1454. But you can Facebook message is really good too.
Awesome. We will link all of that, or I will link all of that in the show notes. There's no we here. This is a solo operation. I'll link all the things that we chatted about in the show notes. And I just thank you so much for sharing your story. And I can just feel and see your passion and excitement for this business. So I feel good, big things for you in 2025. I'm excited to watch it all unfold for you.
Me too. I'm excited.
Thanks for tuning in. If you're ready for podcast mentoring, whether it's setup, editing, planning, or guesting, you can book a one-on-one call with me through the link in the show notes. I hope you feel seen, inspired, and like your dreams and goals are completely valid, because they are. See you next Tuesday.